What's up, guys? Welcome to Phil's Corner Live. Welcome to our eBay hunting stream. Our usual Tuesday evening stream that we do here. As some of you would have seen on Twitter. The eBay stream that is officially recognised by eBay. Well, I'm claiming that one anyway. eBay UK. I noticed tweeted out, or quote tweeted last week's stream schedule and put out a really nice message out of the blue. So I'm going to be milking that for all that's worth. But welcome to Harry 847, Joe, Andy from Jackson's Jerseys, and the others who are lurking in the chat but not posting anything. Welcome everybody. As you can see, the rooms, we're still sorting out the rooms, so you can see a few things there, including my wife's loom there, table loom. But anyway, we're here to shop on eBay, to find some shirts on eBay. Last week was a good one. We found that great Palmer shirt, that really good bargain. So I'm hoping for some similar success tonight. Obviously, yeah, we'll do the usual stuff. We'll have a look, see what we can find, and basically just enjoy the highs and lows of eBay. Of course, as well as we start, I'll give you a heads up that on Thursday we're going to be doing a very special edition of the Hot Wall, where we're going to focus for an unhurried time at the Adidas kits from yesterday, the World Cup kits. And there's so much I want to say. Obviously, I shared a bit on Twitter yesterday, but guys, the kits are great. I saw even just this evening, Chris from Chat Shirt, he taken some pictures of the authentic Japan home shirt, and that's great. There's some really cool stuff from that. So it's really cool. It's an exciting time. Obviously yesterday was just good fun with so many new kits. So we'll be doing that on Thursday at about 3 p.m. UK time. As we start, the usual bits of announcements or housekeeping. I'm going to start with my Patreon scene. Let me flash that up now. You can see here, I need to update I keep forgetting to update the timings, but this is a list of my current patrons. Thank you to all my current patrons. There's a big crowd of them, and it really is such a huge support for me. If you want to find out what my Patreon is, what you get, there's a link in the description. I think the best thing really is that community and little things that I've put it on here about, if you want to, buy a shirt and you can't get it in your country, we've got people all over the world, and we can, act as proxies, and that sort of stuff happens quite a lot on the group, and it's just a great bunch of guys. So yeah, that's the Patreon. Check that out if you want to support me further. But you can also support me just by subscribing and liking the video. So if you want to subscribe, that really does help grow the channel. And if you enjoy this stream at all, hit the like button. It brings more people into the stream as well. So that's really cool. We will switch to our eBay scene. Guys, I think you know the drill by now. We are going to go through eBay in the way I like to do, which is a very simple approach. There's many ways to shop on eBay. I like doing auctions on a really broad term, like football shirts, and in Soonest. Again, eBay is great for things like setting up alerts. It's good for things like if you want to try and snipe deals, you can look at things like the newest listed stuff with the buy now price and stuff like that. I like doing this approach. You do get a bit of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But over the years, it's been my favourite method. Already, very curious items here with a Reading scarf. It's just ended. The kind of stuff which, look at that. An old school scarf from 1988. Very niche, but it sells for 20 quid all in. So there you go. If you got an old scarf, you might be able to get a bit of money for it on eBay. As I go through, guys, of course, leave any questions in the chat if you've got any queries about eBay specifically or just shirts in general. Stick them in the chat and I'll try my best to answer them. If I don't, someone else in the chat will probably help instead. So just a quick one on this United shirt. This is a retro remake, and this was a range of remakes that Adidas did which are quite faithful to the original design. But the key identifier, or one of the identifiers, is that blue label you see on the inside. So obviously the price is a big giveaway as well. You know, an original 1990 away would be, you know, you do well to get it under £200 if it's in very good condition and in a good size. So yeah, but the remakes look really good, to be honest. And you know, I mean, you look at that, you could definitely, you know, you can wear out to the pub. As a lot of people say, sometimes retro remakes are really good because you know, don't worry if you get beer spilled down them or get a snag in them. You've not just lost a lot of money just from the damage. Smudger, I'm guessing my nickname on the back. Yeah, that's quite funny. I mean, this is very interesting. So this is obviously a very rare Reading shirt with that old logo that we saw on the scarf, in very good condition. Going for it, and this is interesting to me to see the price of this one. Obviously, it goes without saying that custom name sets aren't good for the value of a shirt. You can get them removed, and there's people that specialise in that. But obviously, that is time and money to do that. So, really interesting to see here that despite the custom name set, the shirt still goes for, well, about 90 quid. Now, without that name set, I'm sure it would have gone for higher. But that goes to show you the value of the shirt and the rarity of the shirt. If a shirt, again, sure, you can get the name set removed, but it's personalised name set, but it's still going for good money. So that shows you that sometimes a shirt is so good or so rare that even a custom name set doesn't ruin it. Although obviously it would have got more without it. Ragav, good to see you, Ragav. He says, I'm now not only collecting but trying to make people's grail dreams come true. Love your channel. Thank you, Ragav. It's great to have your support. Yeah, really appreciate it. That looks very fake to me. Just the swoosh alone. Thankfully no one bid on it, so that's good to see. I do like these heart shirts. Again, these are just ending, so we don't really have time to look at them. I do like this kind of when they went very Ajax this season. Umbro was so good. Umbro were, arguably the best manufacturer in this period. Really good quality, really good attention to detail, good designs. So nice pick up there on the heart shirt. Seems a bit below market price. I'm not sure what they go for, but I would assume you'd be looking at more than 20 quid probably for one of those at your typical retailer. Yeah, Joe, I think we bought the home version of this. I think we did. And from memory, have I still got it? I think I've still got it, or maybe I did sell it. No, I think I've still got the home one of this season. Yeah, good memory, Joe. Good memory. Love that, mate. Very, very ambitious asking price for this Swansea shirt. I mean, this was an interesting year for Swansea. I don't know if this Adidas template really ever registered with me that much. I didn't love it. And some templates or some designs, over time, you kind of look back and think, oh, that's kind of got a nostalgia draw for me or what have you. But this one, I don't think it's doing much for me. And obviously this is quite a garish colourway, and you've got the horrible sponsor. But yeah, 50 quid seems like a fair amount, really, especially for an XL. It's not in the kind of premium sizes. Never been worn according to the seller, but yeah, I wouldn't. That one doesn't interest me. It does have a best offer, so to be fair, if we were interested, we could go in with a bid a bit lower there. But I hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a good week. I'm very excited because tomorrow, and I've tweeted a couple of times about my excitement for the Lord of the Rings series, Rings of Power. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, Tolkien fan. I'm heading to Manchester tomorrow for one of the preview screenings, or whatever you call them. So that should be really fun. Looking forward to that tomorrow evening. If anyone happens to be going, say hi. Come and say hi. I think it is just the one cinema in Manchester. But yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow. And we had the Adidas kits this week. Oh, it's just this, yeah. It's good. Just looking at this shirt. This is a very simple but very, very strong Manchester United shirt. Of course, this was it's an interesting take on the T90 shirts. And I quite liked this version where you just had that little bit on the collar, and you can see, if you look closely, the outline of the typical T90 shirts. But it's a really good version. And I loved how Nike did this for United, and a couple of teams. I think I'm right in saying a few other teams had this particular version or variation of the T90 template. But it looks good. You've got what looks to be the original printing in that lovely flox material for Paul Scholes. So no surprise to see this going for 50 quid, and I'd say it was worth more. Yes, it is a simple design, but I think when you consider it's in a good size, it's got really, again, the printing looks to be quite good. I'd want to double check it. We could Google the codes and stuff if we were going to bid on it. This isn't one for me, but I think if you're a United collector and you wanted to fill out your collection, I would say this is a good price. It's not the biggest bargain in the world, but that seems to me to be a very good price. I mean, we could have a look. I would guess, if you were to buy it from someone like Classic, you'd probably be looking at 100 quid. From other retailers, probably somewhere in between this and 100. Yeah, Joe mentioned the old Premier League name set. Says, love that old Premier League name set. I think it's great. I mean, obviously as time goes on, again, there's always the nostalgia, and the new one, I'm sure, in 20 years time we'll look back on it a bit more fondly perhaps. But yeah, there's something about that name set which is very nostalgic. It just screams the noughties. I'm just curious to see what this one goes for. Again, I think this is a good price. I would expect a few more bids before the end of play, but we'll see. Really good shirt there. I think it's really cool as well, just the way Nike use that T90 template. I have so much time for that template, that era. Again, it is nostalgia. That's when I was really into football at this point. More so than I am now, I think, in many ways. I certainly watched a lot more than I do now. But so I ended up getting 50 quid. So a good pickup. I would say that was a really good pickup for whoever won that. Nice. Really good. That's kind of, eBay at its finest. Curious to see one of the recent Real Madrid collaboration shirts on sale. Now these were limited in number. I'm a bit worried for the fact I can't see any product codes on this shirt. Now that doesn't mean it's necessarily not real. But if you're bidding this much, obviously, you want to be making doubly sure it is real. Again, that actually looks pretty legit based on the box and the even the Adidas box there. But I can't remember what these were selling for. It wasn't much lower than this, so this seems to be, again, if this is real, a fair pickup. You're paying a bit more, but obviously, again, given how limited they were, I can't remember the numbers, but I don't think there was many of them around. But maybe it was more than I'm thinking. Curious to see this though, and 175 quid, 180 quid all in. Goes to show that's why these limited kits have a market. I think if anything, you would expect, or I'm certainly expecting more in this direction. And potentially a bit more that comes in the package. A lot of shirts you see now in boxes. The box, looks quite nice there, but I'm surprised we haven't seen more of a push towards, just more stuff, because people will pay it. They'll easily pay it, and that's quite clear, even just in the price of a standard player spec shirt being over £100 now. Brock, sorry I'm late. No need to be sorry, Brock. Good to see you. He says, my Utah Warriors rugby shirt just arrived and I love it. Got it for $25, planning with tax. Also just won an eBay auction for 2019 Rugby World Cup New Zealand shirt for my brother for about $30. Very nice, Brock. If I remember correctly, the New Zealand kit was quite nice in 2019. Is that the one which had the really cool kind of texture, or maybe that was just the player spec version? But either way, very nice pickup. I think this is a fake. This is from the same seller that we just looked at, so we won't dwell on it. But what I will say is, obviously, the new Germany shirt. A lot of people refer to this kit, and that's a good point, I think, to mention that kind of going back to this style. So any time a new shirt comes out and it references or is similar in some way to an old kit, there's always a little bounce for those old kits. And again, this is a fake, so this is kind of a moot point. But if, again, I don't know, this is just an anecdotal thinking here, but yeah, it's just something I've noticed before, maybe even just myself, but you kind of think, oh yeah, suddenly those kits are a little bit more attractive, I would argue. You might not see it necessarily in a lot of in a big value difference and a big price difference, but I do think there's something to be said for those kits which maybe are referenced in a new kit, and those old kits suddenly, I think, do become a bit more attractive. That's my take anyway. That'll be an interesting thing to look at more closely, but that'll take a lot of research. So Brock's saying, the palm tree design on the Kiwi shirt. Joe is supposed to put Germany shirt straight to Flames tier. Guys, I'm telling you now, there's going to be the Volcano tier is going to be overflowing, because genuinely, I mean, I can tell you now, there's at least 4 or 5, I think, that are just easily in the Volcano tier. I mean, there is a lot of hype and obvious, but I'm just so impressed with what Adidas did. It surpassed my expectations. I was kind of hoping, and I've been saying for ages, really kind of begging Adidas to go back, to release the 3 stripes again. But more than that, I think just to try and move things on. And yes, you could argue that they're not necessarily particularly innovative, and if anything, Puma have pushed the envelope further, but that's another story. But I really do think, what I said on Twitter, I love the fresh approach. I love that they didn't just rehash old designs, and it's fair play to us, because they really did kind of lean in the retro direction. They kind of led the charge in 2018, the last World Cup. So it makes so much sense that they've now gone to much fresher designs. It's wonderful to see, and I really do think the kits, like, I don't know how anyone touches them at the World Cup. I don't know, from what I've seen in Nike, I'm not that impressed. I think they're playing catch up, which is something I haven't said for a long time in the old Nike versus Adidas debate. Just quickly on this Queen of the South shirt. Now, this is an interesting shirt, being an anniversary shirt. It looks real at first glance. These kind of lace collars, I don't personally love them, but they do have an appeal, and obviously with an anniversary shirt, it makes a lot of sense, I think. It gives that obviously anniversary feel. The shirt itself, I'm not like loving the watermark at the bottom there, but assuming this is limited, often these shirts are. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine. I would imagine these are limited in number. So that seems like a good price. Again, it'd be one of those shirts where it has a certain appeal. Just given that it is an anniversary kit, so another solid find. You'd find cheaper shirts, but that to me seems like, I'd assume it was sold for more than that when it was bought new. So not a bad pickup at all. Interesting to see a Spurs training tracksuit going for over 60 quid. And I would always caution you guys. Now, I was going to say never to buy something with just retail pictures. There are some pictures here, but you don't have a good look at the tags. So honestly, again, if you're spending... This says it's a coach tracksuit. There's nothing obviously wrong with this. And apparently this wasn't available to buy, so I can see the appeal. And obviously the price reflects that. Very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I would want to see more pictures and get some more details on this. But an interesting item. And of course, this kind of stuff, whether it's available to buy or not, is always quite collectible and quite wearable. This sort of training gear, so you often paying quite a lot for it, but it can be pretty good. Hello, Minnow, good to see you. Back on the Germany shirts. Andy saying, so excited to get the new Germany shirts. Shame I've been purchasing, then I have to wait till the month. Yeah, I know, it's I mean, a lot of collectors, I think, are simultaneously very happy and also a little bit, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not anxious, but I think the upcoming wish list or the kind of the number of editions thanks to this week's releases is certainly going to stretch budgets up and down the country. Well, around the world, I should say. But no, I'm very excited for the kits, I must say. I do have, and I was able to get. I got in touch with a guy I know in Japan, who is the same guy who sorted me out with the box anniversary shirt. So I am hoping. Well, I will be getting the away shirt in player spec long sleeves. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. That'll be on its way. Well, it'll take a while to get from Japan, but yep, I'm going to be all over that. And when it comes, we'll do the usual video and get some really good detail shots. And it's one of those where I'm not sure. It's possible that won't be sold outside Japan. The last Japan kit was only available in long sleeve authentic in Japan, so I would hope for everyone that it isn't that. But I pulled the trigger because I didn't want to leave it a chance. I kind of feel like I should have got the home as well whilst I was there, but no, we went with the away. Very excited to see that in person. Middleman says, excuse me, Phil, any update on the Red Sun use? I'm waiting to get more to share, Middleman, so I don't have any updates. The likely date, so the kit is going to be all in one game. That's the plan, I believe. The likelihood is that'll be a game. We're thinking in the autumn. There's a couple of dates that have been floated. As soon as I can share more, I will share both on here and on Twitter. The shirt will be available to buy, although I really hope they're going to be able to cater to the demand, because the amount of people who have said, I'm going to be buying one, I'm hoping they don't do it like a limited release. I don't think that's the plan as far as I know. But back to United. I don't want to focus too much on United, being a Liverpool fan, but just a very interesting listing. I wonder if it's the same guy as the this might have been the same as the Skull shirt, I'm not sure, but again, a great United shirt, and I'm not an expert, so on first glance it looks good. I would want to compare if we were entering this bidding war, but this is such a strong United design for me. I absolutely love the little zip that Umbo has at this time, and you've also got obviously the sleeve taping, which is excellent. Great name set of Beckham on the back. So this has everything. No surprise to see it go for 140. And to be honest, it's one of those where, again, assume this is real, when you've got a name set in that good condition and it's in a good size, it's unlikely you'd find it under 200, I would say, from a typical retailer. So yeah, you could be really shaving a bit of money off when shopping on something like eBay. So it's a really interesting potential pickup there for another United shirt. It's not one we'll go for. If it was a bit cheaper, we may enter the bidding, but nonetheless, very interesting to see. And just Andy previously saying, on the whole, so many shirts about to go in the volcano. It seems to be renamed Hawaii, just one big volcanic island. Indeed. I hate this seller again. We saw them selling obvious fakes, which is a real shame. So we will move on. Otherwise, that Puma's jersey would definitely be one we'll be considering. But we will have to move on again because we have to assume it's a fake. Unfortunately. Interesting Chelsea shirt here. Looks to be pretty good. And a very fair price, a very good price. This is what looks like the cup font. So we talked a bit about typefaces this evening. Chelsea with a pretty quite like that. I quite like that simple style. A little bit of a drop shadow there, or sorry, not a drop shadow, but a kind of 3D look. Pretty nice shirt, and to be honest, it seems very underpriced. But there is 30 minutes to go, so obviously that could rise. But it looks like the same seller as the Beckham shirt, so pretty reasonable. I mean, the print's so good that it almost makes you think, has this been printed afterwards? But if it has, you do see this a lot in the community. Obviously, you would rather a shirt was printed at the time. But if the shirt has been printed later on, if it's faithful to how they would have printed it before, I don't personally have a problem. Obviously, if it has been done with a different technique, or even worse, a different name set or material or things like that, then that is a problem. Personally, I don't think it doesn't really bother me, but I know some people are quite big on or quite hot on making sure something was printed at the time. It's hard to verify now, but I mean, there is examples. Pretty much all the big sites have been known to buy shirts and print them up and sell them at a premium. That's just kind of the way it goes. It's not great, but equally, I don't know. It doesn't personally bother me too much unless the quality isn't there. But that's a conversation probably for another day. Baz, good to see you, Baz. Says hi for everyone. Nice to finally be watching one have a night of work. It's great to have you, Baz. Glad to hear you've got a night off. I think this is a training top, I'm right in saying. Pretty smart, honestly. The price, if it was cheaper, I'd be tempted. As is at this price, yeah, that seems, not really. That's kind of at or maybe even above market rate, I would say, for something like this, like a training shirt. But MLS gear is always popular. And yeah, you can see, again, long sleeves, even though it's a training top. That's always nice to look at. Ooh, look at. Okay. Now this could be an interesting one. I think this might be another training shirt, isn't it? I think, yeah, that is a training shirt. I was going to say, Newcastle Adidas gear. There's some nice gems, I think, amongst that. I did like what Adidas did with their training gear around this time, and I think even some of the match shirts, I'm right in saying, had this same pattern on the sleeves. Well, certainly they experimented with other patterns on the three stripes. But yeah, nice training top at a good price there. Another United shirt. We best not look at too many more, otherwise this will be another one of the eBay streams dedicated to United. So again, we saw this one last week actually, and now having seen the obvious fake from before, we identified this as a potential fake last week, and it's even, sadly, this is just a problem with eBay and other platforms. That also looks a bit dodgy to me, although maybe it is real, but the crest there I'm not so sure about. We'll move on. Just in case. What have we got? A lot of UK based stuff. That tends to make up the majority. Here we go. Interested to see a Belgium shirt. Now Belgium, of course, making the headlines this week with their crazy new flame shirt. Now this one, at 45 quid, I'd say that's more than I'd want to pay for it. I may try a sneaky offer. I think it's, with this era, and you can see there are a lot of bubbles on this shirt, so the condition isn't amazing. It is, there's even a hole. So to be honest, looking at it more, probably, unless you were paying maybe like 20 quid, it's fairly consistent with age, like that, but the whole, to be honest, I think we won't bid on this. But fair play to the seller. It's good to see, an honest seller who's taking pictures, I think again, even at like 20 quid, I'd probably, just things on the whole would put me off. I actually, despite, again, it almost looks like a training wear piece, doesn't it, this shirt? I think this was the home shirt. Yeah, it says home kit. I think it's one of those, honestly, I think these are quite wearable. I quite like the bagginess of the late 90s and the early noughties. I've had a couple of shirts over the years from this era. And yeah, they're often some of the ones I would wear the most, to be honest, this kind of era. Again, because of the bagginess, and I think that's quite comfortable. So yeah, condition probably puts me off this one. But, it's one of those where actually, to be honest, even with the condition, if you can sneak it with a low offer, you could be onto a winner there. Sorry guys, if I didn't move away to blow my nose. Couple of comments. Like I was saying, do you envision eBay implementing a similar authentication system they use with sneakers and football shirts? It can really solidify the market and even determine the name sets of reproductions. Honestly, that would be great. I love eBay, and I do a lot of my collecting through eBay, but you can't ignore the problem of fakes. And something needs to be done, I think. For eBay to really be the platform it's meant to be. Again, this is, it's not even an attempt here. I can understand sometimes a lot of stuff slips through the cracks. Now, to be fair, actually, as I'm saying this, Barca do sell what's called basic versions of shirts, and this looks to be potentially one of those. So it's not technically a fake, but so this wasn't a good example. But there are shirts which are clearly fakes, and there's lots of symbol checks, particularly with newer shirts, that could be done. Oh, hello. Now. Okay. Oh, it's such a shame to see the condition on this one. Because otherwise, this would be, well, to be honest, even with the condition, I would be very tempted. Now, that is looking properly battered on the front. Such a shame, because this would have been quite a fun potential purchase. Even with the condition, I'm still kind of interested. So let's take a look. This is a rather crazy looking old sport 1860 Munich shirt with an Aston Martin sponsor. To be honest, again, I don't know. That looks like it would be hard to remove, but I'm very tempted. I think at the very least we'll stick in an offer. Let's do a bit of digging. I don't think I've ever seen this design. It looks honestly pretty terrible, and I love it for that. I love shirts of this where it's absolutely like, I don't know what is going on. The random fluorescent details look hilarious. I think the biggest draw is the Aston Martin sponsor as well. Not a company who has sponsored many shirts over the years. I can't think of, off the top of my head, I think they have done other teams, but it's not like other car companies, not like a Toyota who have done several. So yeah, this isn't an ideal size. It's a small, and again, that condition is pretty bad. Like, honestly, those marks, I mean, I would be surprised if you could get them out. Yeah, so it's a real shame. But I think I'm gonna, well, let's have a look. Let's see if we can find two things. I want to firstly just establish the information on the shirt, and then we can look at the price. If we can, I think I'd probably want to do make an offer, and we might not obviously get that accepted. But if I could get this for like a 15 to 20 quid, something like that, I think I'd probably still do it. But the condition is so unfortunate. Honestly, without that, I would be very kind of keen just to get this one, just for the novelty factor. Yeah, and Joe's saying shame about the condition where I put a bid in. Yeah, to be honest, the more I look at it, I don't think it's worth it, is it? Because it is so, like, again, those marks look pretty. For me, it's all those bits in between the sponsor there. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to move on. It's such a shame. I've kind of talked myself out of it now, but I think that's probably for the best. Such an interesting shirt, and again, not one I've seen before. Like, it honestly looks naff, and I love it. And the sponsor, this is such a good little collector's piece. It's just in really bad condition on the front. Like the seller said 7.5. I don't think you can call that 7.5. Personally, for me, that's yeah. Well, that's the only area, to be fair, which looks bad, but it does look bad. Just quickly jumping back, I'm going to watch it actually to see if anyone bets on it. Just like, what about saying, Phil, do you have any favourite Sampdoria shirts? So which ones stand you from a design point of view? Good question, Miniman. Off the top of my head, I mean, obviously the one. Well, there's some popular ones like the one. Well, they want this Scudetto. Oh, sorry guys. I'm doing my usual evening yawns as we wrap up the day. Yeah, so there's that one. I mean, I can't think of a better one than that off the top of my head. I really like this year's, particularly the away in third. But yeah, honestly, I couldn't give you a specific year. I mean, let's have a good look. Because some newer shirts, they a lot of them blend into one in my memory. So I think this I don't know if this is one they won or not, but this is, I think, the quintessential Sampdoria shirt. The away counterpart is also good. That's lovely. I think the ERG sponsor was also particularly good. I mean, there's so many good ones. I think in general, nothing's really come close. But I do like Macron's recent stuff, both this year and last year's. Yeah, just having a look. I think that would be my favourite. I didn't know this one's by Puma, but that's even better. But anyway, yeah, spoiled for choice, really. On the 8060, and he's saying that 8060 needs a central badge. Yeah, it certainly looks off. It's funny, isn't it, when you have one like that? Very off centre. Baz saying, when is a fake not a fake? I bought last night a 2004 Atletico Madrid away from CFS, but planning on sticking the Spider-Man 2 sponsorship on it, as by the individual is very costly. And Justin, it's cool last time. Oh, sorry. That's on the 8060 saying about being disappointed. Agreed. Yeah, Baz, on that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The difference is huge between getting an original or one that's already got the sponsor to one that doesn't is absolutely massive. So you're saving a ton of money, and I think, the noble thing, the right thing to do would be, if you were to sell it, to obviously flag that. But I think for me personally, again, especially if it is for personal use, that's great. And I think that actually is a very cost-effective way of going about things. This is an incredible goalkeeper shirt. Wow. This template, bringing back some memories, and the huge pads on the shoulders. So I love this pickup, and to be honest, that price seems pretty fair for an item like this. Goalkeeper shirts aren't necessarily the most collectible, and there's definitely something to be said about, it's a niche end of the market, especially when you've got the kind of sleeve pads, the shoulder pads. But it's for me, it's a memorable design, and that seems like a very good price, honestly. Not something I'd collect, and I think, again, even though it seems like a fair price, it's not so good that I would stick in a bid anyway and look to sell it, even though I think it is worth more than that. But I don't think I've ever seen one of these keeper kits on eBay before, to be honest. And I think pretty much every Nike team had this, or at least I remember, even in this colourway, I feel like a few teams had it at the time. But that is great. just enjoying looking at that one, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna again. I'll watch it to see what it goes for in the end. Now I've just realised the problem with the way I've been doing it recently is that the page is so big that we actually end up missing a bunch of shirts that we didn't see. I probably need to change the page size, but we'll do that all the time. So let's just retrace our steps. We got to, I think, about here. Yeah, so we've not stuck in a bit on anything yet, but you know, that's the way it is. You win some, you lose some. Might find something in the last 20 minutes. I really like this Southampton kit from last year. The price, honestly, you know, seems pretty good, although probably more than you want. I would imagine these are on sale for probably around this, if not less, at the club stores. So not really a huge saving necessarily, but it is one where you know it wouldn't obviously be on sale anymore at the club store. So if you miss this one, you could do a lot worse than picking it up for 30 quid. Looks to be, yeah, well, I mean, you can see the retail price there, 70 quid on the label, but yeah, pretty fair there. Middle answer for me, goalkeeper kits a bit more interesting to collect than the national kits. Not a popular opinion, but hey, yeah, it's interesting. I think yeah, there is a real market for goalkeeper kits. I think you know, there's a kind of practical you know, you need a lot more storage space to manage keeper kits, but yeah, there's definitely something to be said for them. Now this is a really interesting shirt from Valerenga. I think, am I right in saying they're a Norwegian team? I think that's possibly spelled wrong as well. Let's have a look. I think again. Okay, yeah. So it's got I don't know what that is called, but they are Norwegian, based in Oslo. And yeah, this shirt, 2004 6. Let's just go to our favourite old football shirts, and we get a nice view of the old kits of a team. And it looks to be, yeah, it matches with 2005 according to this. Yeah, 2004. I don't know what the difference was between the two, but it's certainly of that era. An interesting shirt. I think again, you can see a bit bobbling, nothing crazy. I mean, sadly, a lot of Nike shirts from this kind of period, the swoosh and the crest as well, actually, a little bit misshapen. It's one of those where it's it's probably not what I go for, but it is a good pickup at that price. Probably worth sticking an offer. I think am I right in saying this is the same seller? Yes, so interesting, the same seller as the 80/60 shirt. And actually, looking at this, they've got, well, this is a good price for the Dortmund Total 90 shirt. The really interesting grey one that they had. I mean, there is some more marks and fair play. Again, the sellers put some good pictures up, which is important. It's a shame because I feel like were his shirts, also their shirts, in better condition, I'd be all over it. They've got some other classics. Really like that Sunderland one. Yeah, a few kind of that have been on M&M Direct and stuff like that. But in general, I mean this is definitely going to go on the watch list. What I would say is an underrated Japan shirt. So that one, yeah, we're gonna potentially bid on that one. Well, that does end in a couple of days. So this is one thing I love, guys. I love sometimes going on a bit of a checking out some of the shirts that a seller has, and this I really like. Look at some of this stuff here, and again, a lot of this stuff is ending a bit later, but I'm going to be opening a few tabs and set up a few watch list reminders for some of these as we scroll through. Yeah, so anyway, sorry, a bit distracted. again, I really like. This is an interesting couple of Japanese shirts, so we will check them out. I'm just going through them now. I'm here. There's a few again, which it's a real mixed bag. Some stuff which is a lot more attractive than others. This Roma shirt, I'd want to check that these shirts are real, of course. But there's some good stuff here, and the prices seem reasonable. Nothing crazy. Oh gosh, this guy's got a lot of stuff. Okay, so we're going to be here a long time, but now I'm here. I'm going to keep scrolling. That was an interesting name set from Besiktas there. Yeah, a real range. Honestly, I like a lot of what I see. The prices aren't incredible, but I think there's definitely stuff to snipe here, I would say. We'll have a quick look at the second page. Yeah, real mixed bag. Got training shirts, you've got some very modern kits alongside some more some older stuff. Most stuff seems to be under 50 quid, and there is some nice looking stuff here. So there we go, a bit of stuff to chew on. As I say, I'll definitely do my due diligence on this Roma shirt. This Japan shirt is the pick for me though. I think again that seems like a very good price as well. Yes, I think that will almost certainly be getting a bid at that price, and I'd probably go a little bit higher, not too much higher, but I really like the look of that. It's a very these shirts are very simple, but I have of all the countries I have, I think, well, not loads of Japan shirts, but it's certainly one of the countries I look out for. This Kobe, probably wouldn't get this one, but there's some interesting elements to here. The old Rakuten sponsor, the old Vissel Kobe crest, Asics. Yeah, I'd probably move on from that. Kashmir Antlers, a really intriguing version. There's that Total 90 variant again. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, there we go. So a lot of stuff from that seller. It all started from this Valarenga shirt, which again seems like a reasonable price. Nothing crazy. I'd probably want to stick in try and lowball them a little bit. Get it for under 20 quid. Interesting. That was a bit of a detour, but one of the things I love about eBay, you can just sometimes just go on a bit of a wander, lose track of time. Very easily done. Comments that I've missed. Baz saying it's so hard these days to spot a fake, and you're taking a risk. If it's modified from New Jersey, you just have to hope the person who is selling is honest about it. Exactly, Baz. Exactly. That's the key. Communication, honesty. They are very much the hallmarks and things which you need to look out for and try and exercise yourself. Andy said, search for a template goalkeeper football shirts for some wild designs. I can only imagine. Andy, our resident template expert, is certainly the man when it comes to template designs. He's got a nice collection of them. And Baz going on to say, with the shirt and printer paid roughly $75 for an original Atletico 2004 waiver Spider-Man sponsorship, and go anything 200 above. Exactly. So it's a huge saving. Huge saving. This Wimbledon shirt, I really do think the combination of the team and the Football Manager sponsor really makes these collectible. It's a very simple design, but I like it a lot, and a very fair price as well. Sorry, a very fair price as well. Again, I think the sponsor readers make this one. For me, it's one of those sponsors which has a lot of added value to a collection, so that's a really cool piece there. It's only a few years old, but again, price seems pretty good to me. So guys, apologies. A couple of good questions here from Mark and Killian. We'll start with Mark, who says, do you think Adidas will ever re-release the giant 3 shops over the shoulder kits? Liverpool as a template, either as a reissue or one-offs, licenses and agreements notwithstanding. Mark, I think to that question, I think they absolutely will re-release them at some point as a retro range. That just seems like a given. In terms of the actual kit that we could see for a team, I wouldn't be surprised if we soon come to a point where brands are allowed to use their brand marks a bit more clearly. And I think, for a lot of years there've been restrictions on things like brand sizing and stuff like that. So anything that's a trademark of the brand, I can't remember the exact rules, but essentially you couldn't do that Adidas design at the moment, as far as I am aware. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see a move back to that kind of approach, because ultimately I think it's an issue of money. I think if the brands can kind of pay up, so to speak, I wouldn't be surprised if your FIFAs and your UEFAs relax their rules. That's it's pure speculation on my part. But if I had to guess, I think within the next 5 to 10 years we'll see that kind of thing again. So who knows? But if I had to predict, I think we would see that. And to me, it's such an obvious direction to go. It's such a great kit to mention, Mark, because it is one of the iconic Adidas templates of the 90s, and a very popular one. It's really flexible, and with different colorways it can really pop. So yeah, I'd expect it before long for new kits. And Killian said, what's your Grail shirt, the one you want? Honestly, Killian, I'm really all in on Boca Juniors at the moment. Many of you would have seen I tweeted about them the other day, on my collection the other day, and I'm kind of looking out for more like that. Just checking out this Southend United shirt, my hometown team, Southend United. I was born in Rochford, near Southend. Saw a bunch of games growing up. Still have a soft spot for them, but yeah, not one I'll bid for, but a good price there for that kit. Yeah, so I think some sort of Boca shirt, I would say, Killian. There's many. I think the Maradona era, particularly, if I had to choose one. I can't think of the year it is, but if I just quickly check, I can't remember off the top of my head. There's certainly a few. So the the dream, I think like an 80 or an 82 would be probably the top of the pile, but there's several around this time. I really like the 92 away, and I did miss out on an auction for that not so long ago. I've got a couple of these, which are some of my favourites in my collection. But yeah, I'd love to fill in some gaps, I think, basically, with the Boca collection. And to be honest, there's so many in this era which I need to pick up. I mean, it's gonna. I said on Twitter, it's gonna be a lifelong pursuit, I think, trying to collect as many Boca Junior shirts as I can. But hey, that's part of the fun, isn't it, as a collector? Yeah, it's been fun this year. I've really tried to focus in, and I've found a few really good pickups I'm very happy with. No worries, Mark. Thank you for your question, and thank you everyone again for tonight. It's been a nice steady stream, but I really do appreciate you taking the time to hang out. Yeah, honestly, I love the community we have here. It's a small, close-knit community. Most weeks we're hovering in the teens, maybe 20s, and that's great, honestly. I'd obviously love for the channel to grow, but at the same time, it's just great to hang out, see some new faces, see some familiar old heads too. This is an incredible Brighton shirt. Look at that. I don't think I've ever seen this one either, from Admiral, and a huge bidding war erupting. No surprise. Wow. I mean, this isn't one. This is way out of our budget and remit for tonight, but I am very impressed with this one. I love it. Such an interesting colour combo for Brighton. The way that the crest, the choice of crest. Again, let's have a look at Brighton. That Brighton shirt history. And just try and get an idea of when this was. So this is 94. It's not to be honest, that seems like quite a high price. And actually, you know, when you look at some of the other Brighton shirts, there's much better Brighton shirts. But it is a great piece, and obviously the condition is excellent. It's XXL, so it's pretty big, but yeah, 225 with over an hour to go. Yeah, so this is I need to fund a divorce. Man, that's maybe a bit too much information there, but there we go. Oh, look at this! Some great Brighton items. I really like this kit as well, with the very classic skint sponsor. And look at that version of the Brighton crest. That's honestly excellent. So there's some. I mean, you know, last week we saw some great Portsmouth items. This week it's the town of Brighton, and some other items too. But yeah, it's the kind of stuff, guys, where sorry, when people are selling their personal collection, there's a lot of non-football stuff here as well. But when people are selling their personal collections, you can often get really, really interesting items. Not the widest selection, but a couple of good, potentially, or at least rare Brighton items. I would assume this is fake, but maybe that's harsh. I guess we should probably give it the benefit of the doubt. No, it looks fake. I say you should give it the benefit of the doubt. You shouldn't give it the benefit of the doubt. You should always do your due diligence and check a shirt before bidding. Sorry, just catching up with the comments. Baz, thank you. That's very kind of you, Baz, and we appreciate it, Phil. So it's good to talk footy jerseys with others. It is. I love this hobby. I tweeted the other day. We've got the best hobby. I genuinely just love meeting people who are just fellow nerds, fellow geeks who are just interested in this sort of stuff. And there's more of us, guys. We're growing. You know, it's still a niche, but it's the, you know, I meet so many people now who are, you know, even if they're not a collector, they know someone who is, and I think it's really cool actually when you realise the kind of growth of the community. It's absolutely huge. In the last few years, it's completely exploded to the point where it probably isn't even. I don't think you could call it a niche really. I think it is actually now more mainstream. It certainly keeps it exciting. It keeps the community, very. Every day is interesting. It keeps it very dynamic. There's always interesting conversations. Like any community, there's ups and downs, but no, I'm very proud to be a part of it. And there's been so many friends I've met, people I've connected with around the world. And Baz as well, saying I'm doing my own interview in a couple weeks' time, and I'll be asked the question, why is there more of a popularity of football shirts nowadays? I didn't even read your comment, Baz, but as we finish, I think we'll as we close the stream tonight, I will answer the question. So, it's a good question. Why is there more popularity of football shirts? I think for practical reasons. We did see a massive uptick around the pandemic, and I've often kind of said to people, I think there's reasons for that. When people were at home, you saw a lot of people kind of going back to their attics, rediscovering boxes of old shirts and stuff like that, or maybe just picking up the hobby of collecting for the first time. Sorry guys, because again, people at home, they maybe had a bit of furlough money, so many people who I met and spoke to online around the pandemic, but I think just generally there's that combination of now there's such a big kind of growing movement around shirts. They're much more popular to wear. You certainly see more people wearing it. I think that's very much a kind of generational thing, where a couple of generations ago it was quite rare to have seen adults wearing shirts as much, and it was kind of seen mostly for kids. Some people still think that, but I would say in many ways that people who are a bit younger now don't have that kind of as much of a stigma around wearing kits, if you can say that. So I think that's a factor. And I think honestly, like, again, just look at, in a similar line, look at festivals. The amount of people wearing shirts, it's kind of become a bit of a thing, and there's a lot of factors, but honestly, I think it's a really accessible hobby and area as well. You know, even if you're not into football, you probably know a couple of teams. You've obviously got your countries in a World Cup and things like that. So I think there's a lot of entry points from that perspective, and you can, despite the price of new kits, you can be picking up kits that are relatively cheap on eBay, like we tried to do today. But you know, charity shops, and so again, I could talk for a lot longer on this sort of thing, but it's really interesting, and I think it's definitely fair to say it has increased. Lots of factors. I think you know, there's many rabbit holes you can go down. But yeah, no problem, Baz. Yeah, really good to hear. Saying it's always been a thing for me since I was a teenager, but the last couple of years really got back into it. Yeah, you are like many people, Baz. Many people have said the same thing. And Andy said, I've had posters to me say the oldest shuttle loan, even older than I am. The FC Sochaux. Have you said the name? 1979 away shirt. Wow, that is an old shirt. Lovely stuff, Andy. Guys, thank you for tonight. There's a few shirts I will be keeping a close eye on in the next couple of days. So even though we didn't close an auction this evening, we saw some good stuff. There was a few potential pickups. I've had a good time as always with you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you do subscribe when you're aware. If you're not subscribed already to the channel, we do streams of this usually twice every week. There's also various videos that go live on the channel, both longer form stuff, YouTube shorts as well, which I'll be getting into this year, but there's also stuff. So make sure you subscribe and leave a like on your way as well if you enjoyed the stream. But thank you for your time this Tuesday evening. Hope you have a good week. As I said at the start of the stream, I'll be off to Manchester tomorrow to watch Lord of the Rings. One day, if my time's big enough, I'll have a nice maybe side channel. This is definitely not going to happen. I'm definitely don't have the time or energy to put it into a second channel. But if I could, I'd do something about Lord of the Rings or something like that. But I'll probably mention it. I'll mention it. A bit of a spoiler-free review maybe on Thursday's stream. But thank you, Joe. Thank you, Baz. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everyone. Always a pleasure to hang out with you. If I don't speak to you before Thursday... Oh, Arthur, this is what your favourite shirt. The one I'm really keen on, Arthur, which you can find kind of mid to the end of the stream, there's a Japan away shirt, which I'm probably going to bid on from 2000. And the seller had a bunch of interesting stuff. So that was one, Arthur. You can go check that late on the replay. Thank you, everyone. I will see you. Probably see a bunch of you on Thursday. If not, I'll speak to you guys on Twitter, I'm sure. Take care. Have a good rest of your evening. See you soon.